I want to step through this code a little bit with you. So as you notice, when you ran that terminal, was this docs was created. And if we look back on GitHub, we'll see like all the things that were added under that doc. So those weren't there when we pulled down the repo. Another thing to keep in mind is, so there's a lot of node modules, all those things that we installed with NPM. And we actually said that we don't want that directory to be pushed to GitHub in this .gitignore file. So we're telling Git not to push this into the repo when we eventually push code. So it's just a very large file relative to the other files, so that's why we're doing that. But I want you to look at the src and the docs file. So we see things that are pretty similar across them. So there's assets in both. There are these pages about CV and posts that end up here about CV and posts. There's also a tags page, a 404, which when you go across a page that doesn't exist, you go to a 404 page. There you go. So we get this 404 page not found. So if you like deleted a page and it was still being tracked by Google, then people might land there. So what exactly is happening here? So if we look at this index, so this is index.njk, and then we see in the docs it's index.html. Now if you look at websites today, most of them are index.html. HTML stands for hypertext markup language, and it's basically the way that web browsers serve files. So what you're going to do when you start working on this, you could edit this NJK and you won't need to edit the index. Like, look at this. This has a lot of things that are kind of being described automatically from the data that's in here, and you're not going to have to touch that, okay? What you can touch is anything that's in the src, and all of these will be done automatically. So again, if you look at this cv.md, which is cv.markdown, which is what we see here, the your name, academic affiliations, publications. So this is all in Markdown, right? So if we want to say PhD candidate in Rutgers, we're going to say MA Italian at, say, Binghamton University, and BA Literature, University of Chicago, or whatever we want to write. What we could do is we could save this, and then we will have it updated here. And all we did was touch the Markdown, but actually it changed here in this CV index.html. So this got rendered into here with these ULLI, which is basically making these bullet points, and it's being automatically generated. Okay, so if we go back to this cv.md and we say we want to add a publication, so say we wrote something called Analyzing Medieval Poetry with Python, and we did it in Digital Humanities Quarterly. Something like this. So just so you know, in Markdown, these underscores on either side is going to make things italics, and VS Code actually makes that look pretty good. And what we do is we save this, and then we go back and look here. So this wasn't there before, right? So here it is now. It was automatically served through to that index.html page under the CV directory. And then if we look at the preview version on our web browser, then we see that that was added here now. Okay, so this is what we're going to work on to fill out. The next thing to do is to go to these. So we're not going to touch the docs, okay, that docs file. The next thing we could do is fill in some of this site data. So you see here that it says name and it says your name, but we actually, don't want it to say that. So we want it to say like your own name. So if I put my name, I could put a description for the website if I would like. I could put my Twitter handle. I could put my GitHub handle. I could put my LinkedIn URL. And then we save it, and then we go back here, and it's all updated. Well, not here, but this is updated. This is updated. This goes to my GitHub. This is updated, so now you go to my Twitter. So all of this has been updated. And now what we could do is go back to GitHub. We could see the things that have changed here. And we see that the CV we've updated, the site.json file we updated. These are all automatically updated, okay. And what we could do now is we could push this to GitHub. So we'll say begin initial edits, okay. And if we go back here to our origin, we don't need to worry about this. If we go back here to our origin, we'll see that there's docs now, which wasn't there before. We'll see that there were a few changes made here, right? So 25 seconds ago were these initial edits that I made to the data, that site.json file. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's just a way of working with data. It's a pretty common way to work with data in Python, for example. We'll talk about that more later. This CV that we updated just now is there now. And we see that those changes were made. So we said, well, I mean, this isn't true, but we said we just added some data, okay.